Okay, so I'm Natalie Carey, and I'm the author of Every Body Beautiful, and I'm really excited to talk to my friend Amy Bond today, who's a wonderful and awesome human being, about body image and how it's affected women and how we feel about it and how you feel about it, and I just can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. So can you just tell everybody a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Amy. I own a pole dance studio called San Francisco Pole and Dance that's about 2 blocks from here on 8th and Folsom. And I opened that studio about 10 months ago.
Cool.
And I'm getting ready to expand right now to move into a bigger space. I'm also writing books, so writing a book about my early 20s and the time I moved to Los Angeles and tried to be an actress and failed spectacularly.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you were part of the inspiration for me to write my book.
Yay!
So I'm so excited we're doing this.
Yay.
So I wanted to talk about positive body image. So what are your thoughts on females and body image? Have you ever been affected by it? Do you think about it on a day-to-day basis? Have you seen how other people are affected by it, or society in general? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of media, both in more mainstream fashion magazines, but also in the magazines that try to be about fitness, that I think promote a pretty unhealthy body image. And so there's kind of this movement right now to quantify every piece of your body and what you're intaking and what you're outputting. And I think even that has a level of obsession that we've reached through media that we're trying to get people to get involved in.
Can you clarify that a little bit? What do you mean by quantifying and the body part separation and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that the quantification of the self is a big movement right now in tech. And since we're in San Francisco, and because I've worked in startups for the last 5 years, I see a lot of new startups that come around that talk a lot about new tools for quantifying yourself. And
what does that mean? Because I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, totally. So the way you wear a Fitbit, you can quantify how many steps you take.
Okay.
You can use MyFitnessPal to input how many calories you eat each day. And you can use a pedometer to count your steps. And there's all these tools that we have in the world, and all of these apps and pieces of hardware that you can put on your body to quantify almost everything.
Okay.
And I think that one of the things that does is it separates you from feeling how you feel.
Yeah.
And instead just look at data that tells you how you're supposed to think you feel.
Got it.
And I think that actually, in its own interesting way, has led to a separation of self between the body and the mind.
Okay.
And so, that's one small microcosm of the way that self-image and the way we think of ourselves gives us tools to objectify ourselves.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That's actually really true. Instead of thinking about, okay, I feel like I need some fuel right now, thinking about oh, well, my FitnessPal says that I've reached my calorie limit for the day, so I'm not supposed to eat anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. It's a really good insight. Can you think of any women that you know who struggle with positive body image, or body image in general, or maybe women that you admire who do seem to have a lot of confidence about themselves?
Yeah, so those are 2 questions, and so I want to just pull them apart a little bit. As the owner of a pole dance studio, I get emails every day from students who are worried about coming to a pole dance class because they know that, and your viewers might not know, but in pole dance you need to wear little amount of clothes. So it's generally booty shorts and a sports bra, and that helps you climb the pole and helps you do tricks so that your skin can grip onto the pole.
Yeah, because it's not actually, the pole is really slippery, and so if we have
it's a piece of metal.
Totally, yeah. If we have clothing on, it means less safety for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I get a lot of phone calls and emails from people who are curious about trying, but they don't know if they should because maybe they gained weight recently or they don't feel comfortable in their own body. There's a big level of intimidation when it comes to pole dancing, and am I going to look stupid in front of other people? And I definitely get that sense, definitely get that exists a lot more with women than with men, because we're taught from a very early age that our social capital comes from how we look.
Totally.
Instead of, our thoughts and our minds and how we contribute to the world.
Do you feel like anybody ever comes into the studio and is like, I don't want to like take off my clothes because I don't like the way that I look, or everybody else looks a certain way and I don't look like that? Or do you feel like there's more of an accepting environment?
Yeah, so nobody explicitly says when they come into the studio, I think my body's ugly, so I'm not going to take off my clothes. But you get the kind of like more subtle cues that people feel that way when you tell them that if they take off their shirt, they'll be able to grip the pole with their side body, and they're like, no, I don't want to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
And so the way that I try to counteract that is in my, I always have like a roundup at the beginning of all of my intro classes where I tell everybody this is a safe space. We're not judging anybody.
Cool.
Take your clothes off in front of each other if you want to. Not all of them. Most of them. And let's just be clear and agree right now that nobody's judging anybody. And that actually, I think, relieves a lot of the maybe even subconscious concern that a lot of people have when they first come into a pole dancing class.
That's really awesome. I didn't realize that you were doing that.
Acknowledge the elephant in the room. Like, we're all scared. Everybody in this room is scared a little bit and maybe intimidated, and that's okay. And that's perfectly, unfortunately, a perfectly normal way to feel. But why is it normal? Probably the reason it's normal is because we've been taught to feel shame about our body, and there's a lot of industries that make a lot of money making women feel ashamed about their bodies.
Right on. Who is somebody, or like even yourself, who has positive body image? And like, how do they exude that? Why do you pick that up from them?
Good question. I think that I was lucky to be raised by my mother, who I wouldn't say has a positive body image, but she had like this aspirational positive body image that she passed on to me, and I have three sisters, and my three sisters. So I remember in high school, I really liked makeup, and I would get like the Teen Cosmo, and I would go to Kmart and like get all the makeup and try to do my face the same way the girls in the magazine did. And my mom would always find my makeup collections, and I would like try to hide. I'd put the makeup on and then like rush out to the bus stop. And there was one time that my mom chased me to the bus stop because she saw like the rouge on my face. And she pulled me back into the house and like grabbed this sponge and like started like scraping my face, and she like held my face in her hand, and I'll never forget this. She looked me directly in the eye and she said, "Don't you let anybody tell you to cover yourself like that." And I still wear makeup, but I never will forget that. And on the days that I don't feel comfortable in my skin, because we all have those days, I don't forget that I am enough the way that I am. And my mom really inculcated that in me.
Wow. Yeah. That's so cool that she did that.
Yeah.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yay, Mom.
Yay, moms.
And also I want to just give a shout out to Roz, who is a pole dance professional based out of New York City.
Roz the Diva.
Roz the Diva.
Who is an awesome human being.
She's an amazing human being, and we recently hosted her as a visiting instructor at San Francisco Pole and Dance. And one thing that I didn't realize is what a following she has. So like, there are people who have followers on Instagram, and they can wrap up the numbers, but Roz's following is very different in their level of loyalty. And we had people who came over 100 miles to our studio just to take 2 workshops from her on a Friday night. And throughout the class, it was mainly plus size pole dancers who came from all over to take her classes, and that's really the demographic who she works with specifically. And one thing that they all kind of hinted at is that they feel like she gives them permission to be better pole dancers and to acknowledge that plus size pole dancing is a thing. And that it's not something to be sorry about, to hide in the corner with, but it's a legitimate body type to pole dance as well, and that anybody can pole dance.
Yeah, she's very unapologetic and very vocal about, like, this is my body and I'm healthy and this is the way I look and it's okay to look this way and it's okay for you to look this way and still to love how we look. Like,
also that health comes in so many different sizes.
Definitely.
Like, just like having a higher BMI is not necessarily indicative of being unhealthy. It may just be that you have a higher percentage of muscle in your body, higher that of an athlete. And she definitely has an athletic body, but it's just different from the athletic body that we're shown. And we're shown the same cookie cutter type of athletic body over and over and over in all of the kinds of media that we see. And so I love that she's showing the world unapologetically that she can be an athlete too, and that she is an athlete.
Yeah.
So
she's a great example. Yeah. Is there any kind of like practice or action or anything like that you do or that you encourage other people to do so that you can feel like beautiful or awesome or proud of yourself? Maybe like on days when you're not feeling super awesome to boost yourself up, or like on days that you are feeling great. Like, is there anything that you do for yourself or that you would suggest for others to try out?
Yeah, I think, it's such a weird thing. Sundays tend to be, for me, like very specifically Sunday, like early morning. I've like just had a great weekend and then I'm like, oh, it's gonna be the week and need to start thinking about work again. And I always feel like a little bit depressed, like around 10 a.m. on Sundays. And so making sure that I make time to play with my husband and move my body always kind of like eases the kind of like mental weight of the things that I'm thinking about. Okay. And I found that to be true when I'm writing too, and the memoir that I'm writing right now has a lot of scenes where when I look back on it, there was some pretty painful moments. There's a lot of domestic violence in my book, and there's rape, and there's feeling coerced into doing things that maybe I wouldn't do if I had not felt so much financial desperation. And so when kind of like all of those emotions and the writing of that story feels like too much, just going into the studio and dancing, and also dancing with other people. So not like going in by myself, but being around other people and other students and instructors, and just throwing on the music and moving on the floor, on the pole.
So movement and being around other people that like you love and give you like positive vibes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like play. Really.
Play. Cool. I love it. If you guys want to meet Amy or take some pole dancing classes, you can go to www.sfpoleanddance.com, sign up for some of their taster classes. Also meet the beautiful Amy Bond because she teaches lots there. And then if you guys feel like this was a great message or you want to share it with other people or you got something out of it, please subscribe. Also go to www.barbellblondie.com to find out more information about my book. And comment, share, let me know what you guys got out of this. And thanks so much for joining. Thank you. Yay.